Hi, this is your coach, Joe Lucas, and welcome to this episode of the Magellan Network Show. Hey, I think in this episode, we're going to cover uncertainty, fear, human emotions on display. Let's dig in. So, here we are. We're recording this on Wednesday, the 11th of March, for obviously, we're going to release this very soon. It's amazing to me, and I've been at this game coaching advisors for over 26 years. So the tech bubble, right? 08, 09. You've seen a lot of things. The ruble, when the ruble crashed, I go all the way back. And it just fascinates me how quickly a society can absolutely lose their resiliency, right? And everybody freaks out and runs to the hill. So what does that mean, for your game, right? So one of the things, and this has been what I've learned, leading advisors, right? I don't even use the word coaching so much as leading advisors. And this is really a powerful story for everyone here, is you have to remember that you lead your clients. And what is leadership? So this is what we need, all right? So what's happening today? Fear and uncertainty. Let me ask the question. Are those logical emotions or not, right? And if you think about it, fear, right? It's illogical, right? Uncertainty, most parts illogical. And so what happens is that you have these situations, and look, I'm not going to talk about the market stuff. That's not my area of specialty. Let's talk about human beings. What you need to provide your clients is what we call certainty. Certainty is a very comfortable human emotion. And so what that means, if you're going to provide it, right, if you're going to lead, if you're going to influence, you have to have it yourself. Because if you're running around not sure what to do, kind of anxious, your body language, your voice qualities will betray you. I don't care what the words you use, you will not come across as authentic, and you will create even a worse situation. So I don't live in fear. I don't believe in it. I think there's always situations. So I don't allow anything to rule my life. I am the master of my own universe. That's my belief. Am I canceling any of my events? No, I'm not. I'll let my clients make their choices, what they want to do, right? But I don't see any reason to make the choice for them. And here's what I know. And this is nothing like this. So, I've heard some conversations. A friend of mine said he was talking to his buddy who's an advisor, and they're all sitting around the office, and I haven't seen anything like this since 2008, 2009. Bull. There's nothing like that, right? We have some fundamental flaws. This is maybe a black swan event, but it is not that. And so I think even you don't utter the word, if in your mind you start drawing those comparisons, you're going to go down a very slippery slope. So when you have adversity, what's the game plan, right? So I think number one, get conscious, right? Don't shut TVs off for a little bit, right? Shut the internet down, right? Except for this video, of course. And ask yourself a question. What does this mean to me? What does this mean? Right? So what is this coronavirus, market sell-off, pandemic? What does this mean to you? Because you got to have an answer for that, and a conscious answer, not like, well, I don't know. You go down that road, you are now uncertain, and you can slip right into fear. So ask yourself, what does this mean? And some are saying, well, Joe, what does this mean to you? Here's what this means. We're going to have some rocky roads. There'll be, volatility. There'll be, overblown everything. And look, I know people are going to die. People have died. People are going to get sick. They have been getting sick. I get that. I do. But man, this seems like Y2K with the computers back in 1999 when our world was going to come to an end because somebody needed code a chip for a new century, right? And so I just want to, and I've talked to a lot of my colleagues who operate, behavioral finance pros, and it's always the same message, right? Which is Bottom line, hey, news organizations, what are they in the business of? They're in the business of selling eyeballs. And why do they sell eyeballs? Because they need advertisers. So of course they're going to sensationalize this. Then you put some politicalization on top of it, right? And now it's a real shit box. So here's the reality, my reality. Number one, there's a virus, like the flu. Two, it's pretty easy to catch. Number three, unless you're compromised or very old, you're probably not going to die from it. May not be pleasant, but you're not going to die from it, right? Go live your life. That's what I'm telling myself. Go out to dinner. We've been here in Florida. We've been out dinner. Places are full. Nobody's freaking out. Things like that. So I look at the evidence and I decide the meaning of things. So adversity, decide the meaning, right? I decide this is just an opportunity for me to add even more value to my relationships. Because see, like you, coaching advisors when the markets are good and everything's cool, yeah, there's always, look, you guys are dysfunctional, don't get me wrong. So even in good times, you'll find a way to screw it up. But this is what I do. This is where I add the most value. Because I go back in, my 26 years and I can draw upon my experiences in 08, 2000, right? And look at all those things, 9/11, and say, okay, how do we get through this? And interesting, we always find a way to get through it, right? So this is about. So number one is decide. Number two, perspective, right? So what's your perspective? If you're like looking at this like, holy shit, right? Yeah, look, for the next 30, 45, 60 days, things may be a little spicy, dicey, right? I get it. But ain't nothing like it was in 08, 09 where I was getting phone calls. Hey, Joe, do you think we'll be in business come Monday? Do you think there'll be a stock market come past the weekend? Do you think we'll have a business in 7 days? I remember those conversations. We're not having those conversations here now, right? We're just dealing with this storm. Now, so again, what does it mean? Then perspective. If you take a long-term perspective, like back up for a second, right? Look at it. In the grand scheme of your career, most of you will have a career that spans from 25 to 50 years if you're good at your game. This will be a couple of months. Percentage-wise, it'll be, not much, right? And that's the way we need to look at it going forward. You've got to put things in its proper perspective, right? Next, what else you do with adversity? The other thing you would do with adversity is you take care of you. You have to remember that the outputs, right, that you're going to have to do mentally, emotionally, physically are going to be at a higher level, right? So what that means is that you've got to self-care. You've got to take care of you, and because you're going to have more emotional conversations. You're going to have to, I'm not talking about talking people off the ledge. You just can't mail them in, right? And yes, you will be put under more stress, right? Physical stress, mental stress, emotional stress, just like any athlete when the chips are down, right? You got to go dig in, go get, find your grit deep inside and bring it up and deploy it. So that's self-care, right? And then the other question I'd be asking myself is, how do I take advantage of this? And that's not and by the way, that's not a negative. I'm not asking you guys to go into the, let's go sell mask business or anything crazy like that. But how do you serve others? Now, I can tell you from my members inside of Magellan Network, my mastermind groups, that those members who are out there reminding clients we're here to serve, if they have people that need conversations, right? Going back to some older, prospects that didn't want to do anything because they were fat, dumb, and happy, we're getting results. Like this is rainmaking time. When the market is most volatile is when people are most open to change because they're in pain. Remember, no pain, no change. The problem is that most advisors, right, and I'm not trying to pigeonhole anybody here one way or the other, but I find that 80% of the advisors are going to sit there and play defense, hope this thing blows over. Hopefully they still think they have a business, but they're going to victimize. Well, see, this is why I can't accomplish my goals this year because we had this thing happen, right? In other words, they've decided in advance what their outcomes are. They're dead, not physically, but from a mental, emotional, and business sense, right? So the best thing to do is to sit there and say, how do I play offense? How do I go out there and create win-wins, right? So win. Let me go talk to somebody. Let me go serve a referral from one of my clients, right? Let me go talk to a former prospect that we couldn't get the yes from. Let me go and help and serve and kind of go do my job, right? And by doing your job, you get an opportunity to get another client, another household. You impact your game, your families, your goals, right? The ultimate win-win. See, that's what has to happen. If you're sitting there kind of like on your heels, wondering what to do, as soon as you say, well, I don't know what to do, that's total uncertainty. Here's what you need to do. Number one, take care of you. So in our game, right, we have our Magellan Morning 8. We have our morning ritual protocol process. You practice that absolutely every day. Number two, you talk to people. You reach out, see how they're doing, you check in. And when I say check in, I don't mean check in like to raise an alarm. So let me be very clear on this. This is not about, hey, have you seen the markets? They're down 2,000 points today. No, that is not the conversation, right? It's, hey, just checking in with you, see how you're doing. You know, there's a lot of stuff in the media about the markets, coronavirus, any questions you have. We're here monitoring everything. We know this will pass in time, just a blip on the radar, so to speak. Do you have any questions, right? And you just make yourself available, right? And people, the feedback that we've gotten, and again, I've got, hundreds of advisors, is that by and large, the clients appreciate the phone call. And they've got their eye on it, but this is no way, shape, and form 08, 09 when people just want to go pull a ripcord and get out, right? We haven't seen it to this point, right? And I don't think we will. Remember, human beings, once they've been exposed to something, they create a certain tolerance for things, right? You have an experience, right? And so if your clients didn't bail when the markets fell literally 50% almost in 08, 09, they're probably not going to bail now, right? However, I find the advisor community is way sensitive to this stuff. I think the advisor community is probably even more sensitive than the client base, if you will, right? And that tells me that we're getting too many negative inputs, that we're taking too much stuff and we're watching too many headlines. And it's interesting to me, and I will admit this, more of I'll care. So I've been, I'm on strategic week this week, so I don't have a lot of client calls. I've been doing some here and there. So I've been kind of, bouncing on, and I admit this, I've been bouncing on CNBC a little bit, bouncing on Fox on the websites, and just looking at headlines, right? And just kind of seeing how things are getting framed, CNN, and MSNBC, all those, ABC, and just seeing, I'm looking at how we're framing the message, right? And of course, they're sensationalizing things, right? And I sit there and I say, no wonder people are freaked out. If you're just unconscious and you're looking at this headline, you go, holy crap! Like, I got to go to the food store and go get stuff, right? I mean, it's ridiculous when you start thinking about it consciously. Remember, fear and uncertainty tend to be the result of unconscious conversations. What you, the advisor, have got to remember is, number one, stay conscious. Ask questions of yourself. What does this really mean? How may I take advantage of this? What do I need to do? Like, game plan it, right? Don't come to the office and say, I'm going to the office today. We'll see what happens. That's like saying, I'm going to go in that ocean where there's a lot of riptide and I'm just going to float and see what happens. Not going to get a good result. Have a game plan, swim your ass off. Bottom line, right? And you've got to have positions when your clients call, because they are looking to you for leadership. And the only way you can lead someone else, the only way you can do that is if you lead yourself first. So you've got to make sure you've got yourself locked down. That to me is what's most important. And I remember saying by Sir John Templeton, he's passed away several years ago, the biggest opportunity, I'm paraphrasing here, the greatest opportunity is is when there's maximum pessimistic or being pessimistic. And I think that's so true today. I think that if you got out there and marketed and biz developed and got your voice out there and played offense, you would get new households, you would gather assets. We're seeing it. It's not a hypothetical, right? So you have a choice to make. And like I said in last week's episode, you're one of the 80%ers that are going to be victim, right? They're going to sit around and kind of, not take responsibility and just, look what happened and that sucks and nothing I could do, blah, blah, blah. Or you could be one of the 20%ers that goes for it, right? I choose to go for it. I don't alter my plans. I'm going to do what I do. We host lots of live events. We're still hosting them, right? We're not giving in to fear and panic. Just won't do it. Won't do it. It'd be, if I did that, it would set a bad precedent, right? Just would. So I want you all to think about that as we wrap up this episode. Number one, decide what this means to you. Give it a meaning, right? Because if you don't give it a meaning, it's going to, it'll be whatever the input is, right? So decide in advance what it's going to be, right? Number one. Number two, take care of yourself. Message, right? Let's get out there and be proactive. Shut down most of the media, right? Like I said, I had a little sample size, and it was like going to one of those buffets where there's nothing good to eat, and you have a meal, and you just feel like crap afterwards. Like, don't do it. Just don't. Take care of your people, your staff. They're the front lines. Make sure they're doing well. Check in with them. Maybe you want to buy a couple extra lunches this week, right? Make sure that, because they're on the front lines, they're handling stuff. Make sure that you do a good job of leading them. Lead yourself, lead your clients. All right. That's what I have for you. Now, we are doing some very special stuff inside of Magellan Network. My messaging has been very specialized. I'm really pushing strategies on how to grow your business while this is all going on. So if you want to come in for 30 days and just check it out, you'll get all the messaging, all the strategies that we're deploying. You're welcome to come play our game for 30 days, MagellanNetwork.net. With that being said, have a great week. See you on next week's episode. So there you have it. If you really enjoyed watching this episode, go ahead and subscribe to the Magellan Network Show with Coach Joe here on YouTube. And remember, I'm always here to help you become a better entrepreneur, business owner, and financial advisor. With that, I'll see you next time on the Magellan Network Show with me, Coach Joe. Take care and goodbye.